It is time once again as we are going to be going over another deck from Engine Access, as we are going to be going over the Nature Spirits for EX8. As I do hope this helps you out, as we're going green today as we focus on the Nature Spirits. But let's jump into it, as this video is going to be focused on showing you why these cards from EX8, specifically the Nature Spirits, are going to be a very good choice as an engine for a lot of decks. So starting off, we actually are going to go through a quick rundown of the cards, because I think as you start to look at it, you'll understand exactly what the deck is focused around, but more or less how you can use this for additional engine space in decks. So starting off, we have the brand new egg of Motimon. This Motimon returns as a lesser, but also is a Nature Spirits traded egg. So importantly for its inheritable, when any of your other Nature Spirits trait Digimon are played, if this Digimon has the Nature Spirits trait, this Digimon may attack. So very cool. Moving into Tentomon here, this will be supporting the Nature Spirits, but also is still an Insectoid, where it can be on play. You reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, and you get to add 1 card with the Insectoid trait and 1 card with the Nature Spirits trait among them to the hand. You return the rest to the bottom of your deck, and this card carries 2000 DP. It can also Digivolve on top of any level 2 with the Nature Spirits trait for a cost of 0. Moving into the brand new Kabuterimon, this one will focus around being an Insectoid and Nature Spirits as well, being able to Digivolve on top of any level 3 with the Nature Spirits trait for a cost of 2, and then on play and when Digivolving, you may suspend 1 Digimon. You've come a long way, where suspending a Digimon is now on any Digimon. Now, looking into its inheritable, it simply gives a your turn. This Digimon gets 2000 DP, another effect being spread around. Additionally, we have the Mega Kabuterimon. This one is the blue one, which I really enjoy. It is an Insectoid and obviously Nature Spirit's trait. Can Digivolve on top of any of the Nature Spirit traded Digimon for a cost of 3. That's level 4. It carries Fortitude as its main skill. And then during all turns, while this Digimon is suspended, it gets 3000 DP. Additionally, during all turns, once per turn, when this Digimon deletes your opponent's Digimon in battle, you get to trash their top security card. And then looking at the final Digimon of this lineup, we have Hercules Kabuterimon Ace. This is obviously an Insectoid and a Nature Spirits card, but it's also an Ace Digimon. It can Digivolve on top of any level 5 with a Nature Spirits trait for a cost of 3, and it is able to, on playing when Digivolving, you may suspend up to 3 Digimon. For each of your opponent's Digimon, this effect suspended, you gain 1 memory, and then during all turns, once per turn, when this Digimon suspends until the end of your opponent's turn, one of your Digimon gains piercing and gets 3000 DP. The final card we'll talk about is going to be NSP or Nature Spirits. The main thing I want to talk about with this one is that it is the field spell-esque effect type of situation that has been incorporated into these cards for the Deep Sabers and the Nightmare Soldiers. Additionally, while you have no face of security cards, you may ignore this card's color requirements. For its security effect, all turns, all of your Digimon with a Nature Spirit trait gain Alliance. And then obviously for its main effect, you add the bottom security card in order to place this into the bottom of your security. Its security effect, when it's checked, is that you may play 1 level 5 or lower card with or Digimon with the Nature Spirits trait from your hand without paying the cost. So getting into it for Engine Access, why is the Nature Spirits here? Well, effectively, this is probably the easiest one I get to make of Engine Access, is that we actually have 2 decks directly supported in the same archetype. So in the Nature Spirits, we already have a lot of support for different strategies, but they haven't been solidified. In the case of this version line of the Nature Spirits, they all help with the Insectoid deck, as Intentomon is probably the clearest example. It'll let you add first an Insectoid and then a Nature Spirits, making this inside of the Nature Spirits deck so much better because you can now double hit, which is really cool. Additionally, what's really interesting about this is that it just adds a lot of power to Insectoid as well, because if you ignore Motimon, which you can in a way, you're now able to simply go ahead and use all of these new Insectoid Digimon, as they actually have very good effects. Additionally, a lot of them have suspension effects, which is accustomed to the Insectoid archetype. But one of the most important things about it is that it offers another level 6 that can fight for that space in the Insectoid deck with Tyrant Kabuterimon, as Hercules Kabuterimon Ace is just extremely good for a lot of decks. I did mention this in some of my other videos, so if you want to check that out, go ahead. The main reason that I want to point out here Hercules is that Hercules is able to just suspend up to 3, and then for each of your opponents it is suspended, it gains a memory. But the reason that this is important is that there are now cards that love to be suspended at different times. Those can even be your cards. So for instance, if you choose to suspend some of your other Digimon, you may be able to proc off some of their effects for protection. This is what makes Hercules such an interesting card, is that now it allows other decks to take advantage of such an interesting effect. And gaining memory is a very cool thing with an Ace Digimon, because this card can easily steal turns if your opponent is not prepared, or it can extend your turn to a massive capability. If you go ahead and play this for free off of something like Tyrant Kabuterimon, go ahead and suspend up to 3 cards, gain 3 memory, and now your turn is going to be taking a lot longer, and your opponent could be in trouble. Additionally, for its all turns effect for Hercules, I think being able to give one of your Digimon a piercing and 3000 DP is interesting, because this can be itself. So when it goes in for a swing, you can make it really big so it doesn't die in a check. But additionally, you can give this to another Digimon on the field in order to propel its ability to do more damage and gain 3000 DP. So like I said, you can pierce, but also damage a lot more, field advantage, so you can run over stuff. There's a lot you can do with this. But the main reason is that all 4 of these cards go very well together. The reason I leave out Modimon and Nature Spirits itself is that with Modimon, this isn't a bad card at all, but you're going to want to play this specifically not Nightmare Soldiers, but in the Nature Spirits deck, because you really want to take advantage of this effect, because you'll be having a lot more Nature Spirits to play. Yes, you could play this in something like the Tyrant Kabuterimon deck, but I do see this being kind of a problem because of its effect of saying when any of your other Nature Spirit traded Digimon are in play. And it says if this Digimon has the the Nature Spirits trait, you get to attack. I do think that's a problem in that you can't really synergize as well with Insectoid, because you may have a card that's not a Nature Spirits. But specifically for the decks that are Nature Spirit focused, this will be really cool. But Nature Spirits itself is a card that I feel tossed up about, because you could actually use this in Insectoid. The main reason why I say that is you could just go ahead and use the Hercules as a focus, where you play out Hercules, maybe it's able to attack, you go ahead and swing, you have Nature Spirits in your security activated, and then you suspend Tyrant to go ahead and give Hercules security attack +1. Now, the reason this is interesting is that if you trigger Alliance with this swing, you could then give Hercules the massive amount of DP from Tyrant, but also you can go ahead and give it 3000 DP and piercing based off of its own effect. So there's a lot you can actually do with something like the Nature Spirits option. So, like I said, this is a card. Don't rule it out. It's just I don't necessarily think you'll see this being played in many decks unless they're Nature Spirits. But like I said, this card is insane, because if you can play any Nature Spirits Digimon on your top end, something like Leomon, maybe you want to try to find a way to tech this out, you could actually use this card pretty well with the Saber Leomon, because it will be able to gain Alliance. And I think that's an extremely good effect on a card like that, because it just needs to find a way to do more damage. Like I said, Alliance is a fantastic skill, and the fact that Nature Spirits has access to it is a very good thing. Pretty much this is where I'm going to finish the video, because I do think that when you look at this as an engine, it's pretty easy where you want to slot this in. Any deck with Insectoids, or any deck that really wants to take advantage of Hercules, as Hercules is mentioned in my other video as being one of the best cards of EX8. I don't think this is an arguable card, because it's just a very solid green ace Digimon. It does a lot. It offers aggression. It offers protection in a sense, because you can give 3000 DP and piercing as an aggression tool. But like I said, this card can end turns. It can steal turns. The point is, it can also extend turns if you want to really like push it that way. That's what I really like about Hercules, but also is just kind of the key thing of this line from the Nature Spirits. It's really designed to be either for you, for everyone, and for the decks it's supposed to be a part of. But that's all I've got for you guys today. I do hope this helped out in trying to understand exactly how the Nature Spirits as a deck is supposed to function. But more importantly, as the engine access is going, this is how you can access these cards into other decks and really get them to where they need to be. But as always, this has been Brad from the Ed Army signing off. And for all of you out there, to sign on.